Your nephew gets your apartment. He's getting married, Dad said, handing my brother the spare keys I'd given them for emergencies. You can crash on our couch, Mom added. I just nodded and left. 2 days later, they showed up with a moving truck. The building manager stopped them. This property belongs to a trust. You're trespassing. When they called me screaming, I was teaching a surgery resident how to close an incision. I'm Dr. Maya Chen. I'm 38. I'm a trauma surgeon, which means I've seen people bleed out over stupider things than family drama. So when my family tried to redistribute my assets without permission, I didn't panic. I documented. The apartment wasn't some startup bro investment. I bought it with money from a malpractice settlement after a drunk driver T-boned me during my residency. Shattered pelvis, 8 months of rehab, permanent nerve damage in my left leg. I walk with a slight limp now. The $180,000 settlement became a down payment on a 2-bedroom condo in a safe neighborhood where I could recover without climbing stairs. My brother Derek never had a settlement. He had 3 kids, 2 ex-wives, and a landscaping business that somehow never turned a profit despite constant, almost there updates. My parents loved him the way you love a perpetually broken toy, more because it needs fixing than because it works. When I told them about the settlement, my mom's first words were, "That's wonderful, honey. Derek could really use help with his truck payment." The apartment became their fantasy solution. Every family dinner, someone would mention it. That second bedroom is just sitting empty. Maya, you're never even home. It's wasteful to have space you don't use. I ignored it until Derek's oldest son, Tyler, got engaged to a girl who posted their entire relationship on TikTok with captions like "building our empire" and "manifesting abundance." Tyler worked part-time at Best Buy. His empire was mostly theoretical. That Sunday at my parents' house, I walked into the kitchen and saw my dad holding my spare key ring, the one I'd given them for medical emergencies if I collapsed during a shift and couldn't get home. "Tyler's getting married," Dad announced. "You can crash on our couch until you find something smaller." I looked at my mom. She was loading the dishwasher, avoiding eye contact. Derek grinned like he'd won something. "Don't be dramatic. It's just temporary." I didn't argue. I took my purse and left. At 11 p.m., I called my attorney friend Rachel. By 1 a.m., we'd drafted trust documents. By 7 a.m., I'd transferred the property into the Chen Medical Trust with Rachel as trustee. By 10 a.m., every lock had been changed. The moving truck arrived Thursday at 9:20 a.m. My building manager, Patricia, a former Marine who doesn't do gray areas, stopped them at the lobby. "This property belongs to a trust," she said. "You're trespassing." Derek called me while I was reviewing x-rays in the ER. "What the hell did you do?" I put him on speaker so my resident could hear. "I protected my asset." "Your asset? It's family property." I hung up and went back to work. 18 stitches on a kid who'd gone through a windshield. Real emergencies don't pause for fake ones. My parents showed up at the hospital that night. Security tried to stop them, but Mom cried until they let her through. I met them in the parking garage, still in scrubs. "You humiliated your brother," Dad said. "I corrected a misunderstanding," I replied. "Derek never owned my apartment. You never owned my apartment. The settlement I got from being permanently disabled doesn't become community property just because you're related to me." Mom's voice cracked. "Where are they supposed to live?" "Anywhere they can afford," I said. "Like adults." Dad stepped closer. "We raised you. You owe us." I looked at him for a long moment. "You raised me to work 70-hour weeks and survive on 3 hours of sleep. I don't owe you the fruits of that labor." Tyler sent me a long text that night about how I was destroying his future. I replied with one sentence: "Your future was never in my apartment." 3 months later, Tyler and his fiancée rented a studio across town. My parents send polite holiday cards now. Derek doesn't contact me at all. I renovated the second bedroom into a home office. Some nights after a bad shift, I sit there with tea and silence. No one has keys. No one shows up unannounced. Not revenge, just recovery.